Cool. Well, that's enough about 2025. That is so last year. What is... We got 2 reds. All right. So sorry, Kirk. That's bad news.
Yeah.
Happy New Year, Falcons fans. Welcome back to the Friday 5. New show, new year. Same guests, Tori McElhaney, Terrin, Waack. I'm Will McFadden. Welcome back. How was the new year, everybody?
It was good.
Yeah. Had a good time. Went to the aquarium.
All right.
Had a lot of fun. Saw some fish.
Yeah? You partied with the fish?
Partied with the fish, yeah.
Nice. Well, we are going to, of course, talk about the season finale between the Falcons and the Saints, bringing you the 5 things that you need to know for this final matchup of the 2025 season. But before we get to that, we're going to start, as we always do, with our question of the day, which you can follow along on TikTok at Atlanta Falcons to see all of the questions of the day throughout the season. Mm-hmm. So, Tori, what do we got?
Yeah. What was the best part of 2025? Who wants to go first?
I'll quickly just say my second son was born, so I'm gonna go with that. That feels like an easy one.
Yeah. That was the Miami Dolphins game. For those,
that was the best day of the year for me.
For Will.
For Will. And probably Will alone.
Yep. Yeah. Literally just me.
Just the McFadden family.
Yeah, just the McFaddens. For me, I think it was winning an Emmy for the Grady Jarrett documentary.
There you go.
That was, as I've said on this podcast for, gosh, you probably are tired of hearing me talk about it, but that was kind of like a labor of love over 2024, and to get the hardware for it along with Mark Whittingham was just like really special.
Nice.
Terrin?
Gosh, I don't know.
You did so much in 2025.
I know. I was going to say my sister's engagement, but that's about her. So I'm going to go with my 30th birthday weekend in Asheville.
Yeah.
That was a time.
Love that.
Okay.
Big 3-0.
Big 3-0.
Yeah.
Not the marathon?
Freaking old. That was my third one.
Okay. Well, all right. Old hat.
She's like, I've already done that.
Cool. Well, that's enough about 2025. That is so last year. What is...
Good one.
Okay, good. I didn't know if that was
I like that.
a
You
good,
said good
a
one.
good
I
one
said,
or,
oh.
or
I loved it.
Well, honestly, I'm happy
funny.
it's the best case scenario that it was one of each, because that's what I go for. The Falcons and the Saints are going to close up the 2025 season with their second game. The Falcons won the first one back in Week 12. And it's really interesting when you look at this kind of matchup, because it's between maybe the 2 hottest teams in the division. Falcons are on a 3-game win streak. Saints have won 4. They've won 5 of their last 7. Tyler Shuck, who we'll talk about it later on in the podcast, is playing really, really well. But it's fascinating that you've got kind of this matchup, and then the other matchup is the one that will actually decide the division between the Bucs and the Panthers. So, Terrin, why don't you kind of walk us through how the division can be decided here in Week 18?
Yeah.
She has a lot of notes. She's ready for this.
I know. Reading them is going to be fun. But the division is just so interesting, and it's kind of like there's a lot of different moving pieces just for one outcome. Obviously, we'll start with where the division stands, and you have the Panthers atop the NFC South with an 8-8 record. The Buccaneers and Falcons are both 7-9, and I had to look into this a bit to figure out why the Buccaneers were ahead of the Falcons despite having the same division record. And so Will and I looked into the tiebreakers. Yeah. And first up is the head-to-head, and the Falcons and Bucs split their series, so that one doesn't work. Then it's a division record, which I already said they have the same one, so another one that doesn't work. And then you got to common games, and that's where the Buccaneers have an advantage, where they are 5-6 and the Falcons are 4-7, because their shared opponents were the Panthers, Saints, 49ers, Patriots, Rams, Jets, Dolphins, Bills, Cardinals, and Seahawks. Nice. So that's where that tiebreaker came in, just kind of setting the tone for why
the
they
NFC
are.
West and the AFC East, I think, pretty much. Yeah.
Basically. And then the Saints are 4th at 6-10. Okay, and as Will said, the Buccaneers and Panthers play Saturday. The Falcons and Saints play Sunday. If the Buccaneers beat the Panthers and the Falcons beat the Saints, the Buccaneers, Panthers, and Falcons will all be 8-9. It'll be a 3-way tie for first in the NFC South. The Panthers would win the division, though, because they have the best head-to-head record.
Yeah.
But, that's just crazy to think. It'll be a 3-way tie after how this season has gone.
And so the Falcons would be 3rd in that instance, right?
Yes, because... Yes. I think
so
because
the
of
best they
common
can
games
finish
again.
is second, right? If the Panthers win and Atlanta wins, I think they'd be second in the division.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In order for the Bucks to win the division for the 5th year in a row, they need to beat the Panthers, and the Falcons would need to lose to the Saints.
Yeah. So the Panthers have like kind of the easiest
Yes.
path in.
Because of the Falcons' win over the Rams, too. So
Yeah.
look at that. The
Everybody
gift
in
that keeps on
Charlotte just
giving.
rooting for the Falcons this weekend.
I
It's
saw a
crazy.
tweet where someone said just like give Zane Gonzalez like a statue in Charlotte.
Yeah.
Terrin, your transitions have gotten so good.
Yeah.
Anyways, to continue with my notes. My brain is operating at like E today.
Yeah.
But if the Falcons lose to the Saints, they'll both be 7-10, and the Saints would get the tiebreaker because they already have a better division record. And then the Saints could be
crazy.
second in the NFC South if the Buccaneers win for the same reason. So if the Bucs win and the Saints win, the Saints are second.
So
in the NFC South.
It feels like literally basically any version
Yes.
of this could end up manifesting this weekend. Tori, are you surprised that that's the case again this year in 2025?
I mean, if you would have asked me kind of going into the season, I maybe would have said, yeah, this is surprising. But when you look at it in the context of what the NFC South has been for the last, 5 years, it has been like this is just another example of the chaos of the NFC South reigning supreme.
Yeah, it's classic NFC South.
Classic NFC South. And at the beginning,
New year, same division.
right, like at the beginning of the year, you had Tampa looking unbeatable and starting the season 6-2, firmly positioned, like coming out of the bye to continue that dominance, and only to absolutely implode. And to the degree of, I know last year we had a whole conversation about how the Falcons started so hot in the NFC South and then the South caught up. But with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it's kind of like a same type of story.
Yeah.
They were firmly in control of things. They looked like they were playing out of their mind.
Baker was like an MVP candidate in Week 5.
Yeah, and now they've lost 7 of their last 8, I believe.
Insane.
Like the fall off has been extreme for Tampa Bay. And then speaking of extremes, you have Carolina and Atlanta as these two like hot and cold entities, like both teams putting together some big wins, having some big moments, but also laying eggs periodically. And then there's just the Saints, which I think the Saints are actually the ones that, along with the Falcons, the trajectory is pointing up a little bit for them compared to how they started the season with, 10 losses. And I think that they've actually now found a lot of success, or at least a bit of success with some of the key young pieces that they have, which I know we'll talk about that later. So, yeah, it's just kind of one of those things where, like, there is a possibility, to your point, of, like, after everything that happened, the Falcons could potentially, there is a path, a very notable path for the Falcons to be second in the NFC South after everything and after being out of playoff contention for the last 3 weeks.
And same with the Saints.
And same with the Saints, yeah.
What?
It's so crazy, and like the thing that I keep coming back to is that it's such an interesting exercise for like expectation and where you are as a team relative to like your kind of time frame for everybody involved. And because again, like this division 3 teams could finish tied, right? And the other team would be like 2 wins off, or that team could finish in second. There's so many different variations, and yet you have Saints fans who probably feel really good right now because of the 4-game win streak. You feel like you've got a quarterback you can build on, like the arrow's pointing up for you. You've got a Panthers fan base that is kind of like, maybe we're a year ahead of schedule.
Yeah, like pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, there's still some questions there, but hey, like if we win the division in a year that maybe this wasn't supposed to be the year, awesome. How could you be mad at that?
Right.
You've got a Falcons team that is still kind of like looking great at times and then setting itself back at times, and you don't know what to make, and you've been kind of stuck in this purgatory for a few years. Then you've got a Bucs team that is going through very much what Atlanta went through last year, and we all remember how much fun that was. So it's just fascinating to be like 4 teams with pretty similar records, pretty similar like outcomes this season, and just the way everybody feels about it is fascinating to me.
Very different.
But we talked about the Saints kind of looking to end their year on a 5-game win streak, they will be doing so without one of their best players. News kind of was reported Thursday morning that Chris Olave would be missing this game due to a blood clot that they found. So it sounds like he'll be okay, but it's precautionary.
Right.
And that's going to be a big loss for the Saints. You look at Chris Olave, he's 6th among wide receivers with 1,160 receiving yards this season. He's 3rd in targets with 156. So he has been really kind of like the safety blanket for whoever has been in there, quarterback for New Orleans. So I kind of wanted to bring that up because that happened early Thursday morning as we record. But the Falcons have some injury news of their own. Terrin, you want to walk us through that?
I mean, Raheem Morris said it best that the Falcons dodged a big-time bullet. Brandon Dorless is week to week. I mean, there's 1 week left.
Right.
But it's just a few weeks, a couple weeks, where when he got injured in the Rams game, it looked like it could be something severe.
Yeah.
Like he needed so much help getting off that field.
Yeah, and I went back and I watched the replay of that because, we can't see from the press box. We just saw him get helped off and then get carted to the locker room. But then my 18-year-old sister actually texted me randomly in the middle of the game and goes, "Who's number 54?" And I go, "Brandon Dorless, why?" And she said, "He was so sad. Like, I'm so sad for him. I wanted to give him a hug, like, because he was so upset, like, getting carted off the field." And I went back and watched it, and it was like that reaction. You would have thought that it was reported to be a knee
but it's
injury,
just a hamstring,
right? Like that.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, it's really great for the Falcons and for Brandon Dorless that wasn't a catastrophic injury.
Right. Big sigh of relief for the second-year player. He has 8.5 sacks, tied with edge rusher James Pierce Jr. for most on the team. So you love to see that second-year jump for him.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a third-round pick last year. He only played in 2 games and made 3 tackles. So, it's sad that his season is ending early, even if it is just 1 game. But you are very relieved that it's not a severe injury. You are very excited about his future and what he's going to possibly be able to do in year 3. Otherwise, cornerback Mike Hughes will likely miss his 3rd game in a row. Morris said he doesn't think Hughes will be good to go, kind of still dealing with that ankle injury. And then you had cornerback Clark Phillips III, safety DeMarco Helms, and defensive lineman Sam Roberts are all in their 21-day window because they were designated to return from injured reserve. 2 of them last week, 1 of them this week. So injuries, but not nearly as many as on the Saints right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think obviously the Brandon Dorless news is big.
Yeah.
If he has avoided any major surgery or any reconstructive stuff to his knee, that obviously then allows him to be involved in the offseason program and be right back where he should be in training camp, and that's going to be huge. You hate to not have him out there for this game because I kind of think the Falcons' defensive line, I'm curious to see what they look like. LaCale London has had a great year, but I don't know if he's the pass rusher that Brandon Dorless has been. So just how does that ripple outwards? And then what do we see from the edge guys without having kind of that interior penetration will be something to watch. But the reason that could be important is, as we mentioned earlier, is the play of Tyler Shuck at quarterback for the Saints. He's kind of a member of a new look, I think, group that is starting to define itself for this New Orleans team. And obviously being the Falcons' biggest rivals, we're going to probably be seeing a few of these names in the years to come. Tori, what do we need to know about Tyler Shuck?
Yeah, it kind of feels like against all odds and even a viral combine video. I know people saw that. It was hard to not see that. But the Saints, despite all of that, the Saints may have actually found something to move forward with and build off of with Tyler Shuck. Since they went to him as the starter at the end of September, he went from being kind of someone no one really gave much of a second glance to now leading this offense through 4 consecutive wins. I think the Falcons this coming weekend will see a much more confident version of Shuck this time around than they did the first time. Last time, it was his first home start. He was under a lot of pressure. The Falcons got 5 sacks against him the last time they saw him. Threw an interception under pressure. Couldn't really get anything going downfield at all, which I think is a testament, again, to this defense and how they're playing. But flipping it forward to looking at the Tyler Shough that's coming into now this Week 18 finale, he's averaging over 300 passing yards per game in his last 3 outings. He hasn't thrown an interception in 4 weeks. We talked earlier about the Chris Olave story and not injury, but like the not being available this weekend. That's actually, I think, going to be a major point of this game for Tyler Shough, because he and Chris Olave has showcased like a very productive connection.
Yep.
Almost like, I think even Chris Olave spoke about that connection and how it almost has brought the love of the game back to him a little bit after everything he's gone through.
It kind of feels that way watching some tape for New Orleans over the last couple of weeks. Like you see that these players, the skill players in particular, are like playing a little bit harder. Like I know this is the NFL and you're going to play hard but you can just sense it a little bit that they believe in this quarterback. And when you believe in the quarterback, obviously you feel like you got a chance.
Right. And he's done I think he's done so much to allow the team to believe and to trust in him and what he's done. So I have a lot of kind of respect, and even looking at Tyler Shough moving forward into 26 and 27 and potentially beyond, like he's someone to keep a wary eye on, I think.
He's a little bit older. I think that's why he was kind of getting knocked in the draft process, because he's 26 years old, but
ancient.
That's right? Like that's pretty young in my book. And second round pick, but I saw this note from Next Gen Stats. He's completed 69% of his intermediate pass attempts, so between 10 and 19 yards. That's the highest mark in the NFL. So like he's kind of living in that range where modern, I think, quarterbacks thrive, which is like over the middle of the field in these intermediate windows. Terrin, what about the defensive side? Who do we need to know?
I know, like in our prepping meeting, I wanted to talk about defensive lineman Brian Brzee, since he was the Saints. I almost said the Falcons. The Saints' first-round draft pick when I was actually in New Orleans. But a quick look at their defensive stats and whatnot, and it's actually defensive end Chase Young, who I really want to highlight because
he's been so dynamic.
He has been so good this season.
He looks rejuvenated.
He does.
Right?
Yeah.
I know he's like dealt with a bunch of injuries throughout his career, and that's kind of like the one knock on his resume, but including this year. I mean, he missed the first 5 weeks of the season, but has made such an impact since his return. He has the second most sacks on the team with 8.5, which matches the Falcons single player, not record.
Sacks.
Just high.
Yeah, sack high. Yeah, high. I was like blanking. Only Cam Jordan leads above Young with the Saints with 9.5, but that really doesn't surprise anyone.
Yeah, it's Cam.
It's Cam.
He's doing it on like a snap count too.
Yeah,
like you look at all the snap, it's like 62, 62, and then like 31 for Chase Young.
And he's
or not
still,
for
Cam
Jordan.
Jordan, yeah.
He's still producing.
Kicking. Yep.
Yeah. But going back to like just how I think New Orleans kind of has resurrected Young's performance too, because he was the number 2 overall pick in 2020 for Washington, had 7.5 sacks as a rookie, but kind of puttered off after that breakout season because of injuries. He had 7.5 again in 2023, but that was split between 2 teams, Washington and San Francisco, and then the Saints signed him last year. And he has found some like consistency, especially late in the season now. He has had, at least 1 sack in the last 3 games. And the Saints overall have 41 sacks, which is tied for 10th most in the NFL. The Falcons, just for reference and to top it, have 53 and are second in the NFL. So
Love it.
What'll be curious to see is like how the O-line stacks up against the Saints defense, because Kirk Cousins wasn't sacked at all against the Rams, and he was only sacked once the 3 games before that. It was actually the Saints the first time around who sacked Cousins the most this season with 3 times in Week 12. So you kind of don't want to see that again.
No, and the O-line has played pretty well. Like no sacks against the Rams, that's nothing to sneeze at.
No. Bless you.
And having a great run game obviously helps. A couple other players for the Saints just want to touch on is rookie safety Jonas Sanker, who has been in their starting lineup basically since Week 2, 3rd-round pick. He's only allowed 1 touchdown this season, got a couple of interceptions, 4 pass breakups. And then mentioned Chris Olave going down, so who would be maybe that next man up? They're going to have a mixture. I would expect Juwan Johnson, tight end, to get involved. But Devon Vele, 7th-round pick for the Broncos last year. It's his first year with the Saints, but he's got 16 catches for 202 yards and a touchdown in his last 3 games. So he has really been coming on strong lately. I think he's going to get a lot of work in that intermediate range with Chris Olave out. So moving on, we've got,
I do want to add something because we did just talk to Jesse Bates earlier today, and he actually highlighted Taysom Hill as who he expects to really step up in Olave's absence. And I didn't know this, but Jesse said that he heard or saw somewhere that this might be Taysom Hill's last season.
Yeah.
And if this is Taysom Hill's last game,
they're absolutely trying to get that man a touchdown. Are you kidding me?
He needs to be shut down then. Yeah. Circled,
100%.
highlighted, bolded, underlined, because that man has been kind of a thorn in the Falcons' side. A thorn in
There's
everyone's
only room
side.
for one number 7 in this town.
Yeah, and that's
Taysom.
Bijan.
It is Bijan.
And Michael Vick.
That was poor timing. All right, so we wanted to kind of bring back a fun game from previously, which is our, I can't even remember what we called it, but it's the green, red, yellow game. There we go. That's what we're calling it now.
Red light. Stoplight.
So basically, we've got a number of Falcons that kind of can reach some records or milestones in Week 18. So basically, I've got 6 of them written down, and we're going to just kind of do confidence levels with this. So green means you're very confident. Yellow means you're like kind of on the fence. Red means you're fairly unconfident that it's going to happen. Everybody understand?
Yes.
Okay, so the first one is Bijan Robinson scrimmage yards. Now, we know he already set the Falcons' all-time record in scrimmage yards passing William Andrews this past week.
Casual.
He's got 2,255 on the season. He's averaging 141 scrimmage yards per game. So if he reaches that average, if he just has 141, just casual, low-key,
it's fine.
He'll finish with 2,396 scrimmage yards, which would put him 3rd all-time in the NFL in a single season. He would just pass Christian McCaffrey, who had 2,392 yards in 2019. I know that's a lot of numbers, but I hope you guys are sticking with me. So, what is our confidence level that he can have 141 yards and reach 3rd on Sunday? 3, 2, 1. 2 greens.
I feel very good about this just because Bijan continues to do things that were just kind of like only Bijan can do. He's coming off of a 229 scrimmage yard performance. I just think that I just think that there's a little bit of momentum with Bijan. And even looking back at what he did against the Saints earlier, I know it wasn't like his biggest or brightest performance, but still had over 110 scrimmage yards, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, I just think back to, was it last week where we were talking about him breaking the record and we were debating, like, is 150 too high of a number? Is that realistic? And then he goes and tops 200. So
he
never
smashes
underestimate.
It, so we're going to lower that number this week.
Yeah, exactly.
Never underestimate that number 7.
Yeah, never.
Either. But, like, our number 7.
Heck yeah. Cool. Next one. So we talked about the Falcons' sack performance this year. They've got 53 sacks, 2nd in the NFL, 2nd all-time for a single season. They have a chance to set a new record if they get just 3 more sacks in this game. The all-time record for sacks in a season for the Falcons is 55 in 1997. As I said, they're at 53 now. 2 to tie it, 3 to beat it. What's your confidence level? They will beat this on Sunday and get 3 sacks. 3, 2, 1. 2 greens again. We got a confident bunch.
I think they're going to do it. I have this like feeling that it's going to happen. I think so. The last time I already mentioned this, the Saints. The last time the Falcons played the Saints, they had 5 sacks. Tyler Shuck has been sacked, I want to say, like almost 10 times in the last 4 games.
Ouch.
Like I think at least 2 in the last couple. So I feel even without Brandon Dorlus, which that does put a damper on things. But I still feel very confident that they'll be able to do this.
They're talking about it, and that always kind of gives a little extra juice. I mean, they're being asked about it, but then they're talking about it. Yeah. And it's just something that they want. And I think this defense deserves it, given the fact, like, from last year to this year, the change in the pass rush, insane.
Yeah, and when you look at just kind of like Tyler Shuck's numbers, he's been pressured at the 8th lowest mark this season, but the pressure to sack ratio is the 2nd highest in the NFL.
Right.
And the Falcons actually have the highest pressure to sack ratio on defense. So when you're getting those opportunities, like Tyler Shuck isn't necessarily getting out of that pressure and buying time and escaping it. He's usually more often than not going down, and Atlanta is going to manufacture that pressure one way or another. So I like this record to fall as well. All right, another sack candidate is James Pierce Jr., the rookie first-round pick, has 8.5 sacks on the season. Everybody's been talking for a little while about him maybe reaching double digits. What is our confidence level that he is going to reach 10 sacks on the season on Sunday? 3, 2, 1. 2 yellows. All right.
Yeah.
We need to differ.
Yeah.
I know. We're on the
Terrin,
same.
you start on this one.
Same wave.
I just think it's going to be multiple players who get the sacks on Sunday. And I don't know. It's a gut feeling.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just recency bias too, since he didn't have any against the Rams. But yeah.
Tough crowd. You
Yeah.
go 1
Sorry.
week without a sack, and
And then it's
and it's just
over.
everybody's
It's over.
doubting.
Like,
Yeah.
never again. But no, I would love it for him.
Right.
But I don't know. I could see other people kind of stepping up in Brandon Dorles's absence.
Yeah, and 1.5. It's the
half.
It's the half.
It's the classic like over/under thing.
Right.
Where you're like,
The half is getting me.
Yeah, because I do think he could get a sack for sure. I do think that's possible, but it's like the multiplicity of it is
Yeah.
kind of where I'm a bit more like, I don't know.
he's had 2 games this season with 1.5 sacks or more. So we will see if he does that on Sunday.
Prove us wrong.
Yeah.
Next
that'd be
one,
great.
Kirk Cousins is at 297 career passing touchdowns. If he gets to 300, he'll tie John Elway for 14th most in NFL history. This season, he's only got 1 game with 3 touchdown passes, which was against Tampa Bay. But we know what Kirk Cousins can do.
Right.
So what's the confidence level that he will get 3 and at least tie John Elway on Sunday? 3, 2,
Oh
1.
my gosh.
Taryn.
We got 2 reds. All right. So
Pulling them
sorry,
at
Kirk.
the same
That's bad
time,
news.
Too.
Yeah, you guys are like
I know, we
looking
don't
at
even
each
know.
other, and
And we're watching yeah. Dang.
It's not like they're in the notes either. Like this is
No,
just
we don't know.
luck of the draw.
Yeah.
all right. So you guys aren't. We can roll right past this one since we don't feel very very confident about Kirk.
Well, my thing is, I just think the run game is gonna kind of
Lead the way?
reign
Yeah.
supreme a little bit.
And I know the Saints' pass defense is better than their run defense, just statistically. So that's where I'm kind of pulling the red from.
Okay. Well, then maybe that doesn't bode well for these next 2. Kyle Pitts is currently at 870 receiving yards. What is the confidence that he can reach 1,000 on the season? So he needs 130 to do that. He's got 1 game with more than 130 this season against Tampa Bay, 166. So confidence level, Kyle Pitts, 1,000-yard season, 3, 2, 1. 2 reds yet again. Oh no. So I'm sensing big run game coming on Sunday.
I also just think like he needs 130 yards. That's a lot. If it was 70, I would be a lot more closer to green. But 130 is a bit too much for me.
You want to half the number, essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And with Drake London back, I don't know.
Yeah.
He was really getting a lot of love in Drake's absence, but you guys just got to share the ball now with everyone on offense at least healthy.
Yeah.
Speaking of Drake, his task is a little bit harder here, but he's at 841 yards, so he'd need 160 to get to 1,000 on the season. You know, he's done that twice in his career against Carolina and against Tampa Bay, so it would be nice to like kind of cap off that trifecta, get one against New Orleans and reach 1,000 yards. What's our confidence level in that happening? 3, 2, 1. 2 reds yet again. All right. Look at y'all, same page all day.
Again, it's so difficult to like say that he's going to have 160 receiving yards when since his return from injury, I think it's been a little bit of a knocking some rust off and trying to get back into it. And he had he missed 4 games, like almost a full month. Like,
Yeah.
I think that it's unfortunate that injury happened when it did, because I think that he was on such a high, like was one of, I think, the best receivers at the time, and I think was making a push to be a Pro Bowl candidate, like all
sure.
those
Yep.
things, and then the injury. And so it's just, Drake London should have been over 1,000 yards this season, and it's really sad that he may not be.
Yeah. I second all of that.
Before he got hurt, there was like a stretch where it was like 5 of 6 games. He had like 118 yards.
Yeah.
Like going back and looking at his box score this morning, I was struck by that.
Watch, we're going to be completely wrong on all of these, and it's
going to
be
green
like
across the
a
board.
300, 400 yard passing game, something insane.
In bananas.
Which, for the record, I'm going to predict because I was confident in everybody.
He's only green.
He's only green. Just
optimistic Will.
Just put like the green dot over his face.
Somehow, some way.
Don't do that,
the
Jared.
team as a whole is going to top 1,000 yards in Will's mind. In this one game.
Will is the optimist of the group.
I am.
Yeah. He sees the glass half full.
Only smiley emojis.
Right.
All right, so it is January 2nd. Happy birthday to my brother, by the way.
Happy birthday.
As you guys are listening to this on Friday. And because of that, we're going to do a quick New Year's related leave behind, look ahead. Tori,
more games.
Why don't you
want me to start?
With this?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the premise of this is like we kind of decided like, okay, what is one thing that you're going to leave behind in 2025 and what is one thing that you're looking forward to in 2026? And for me, my leave behind, I want to leave behind the emotional roller coaster that Raheem Morris has kind of spoken about a few different times after losses over the course of this season. And what I mean by that too is like the highs and the lows of the 2025 season, like the inconsistent play, the inconsistent outings. Like I think that I said this in the mailbag, I said this on Fox 5 this week, but like the highs for this team were so high, exuberantly high. And then the lows were like such determining factors in ultimately what this team was in 2025. And so I think that if you can get rid of the absolutes that we talked about in the Final Whistle podcast, if you can get rid of those and kind of become more of this consistent entity, I think that's something that I would want for this team in 2026. So I would want to leave the inconsistencies, leave the absolutes in 2025. So that's my leave behind. My look ahead, to stay on the theme of like sacks and this defense and everything, I'm really looking forward to continuing to see this young defensive core continue to develop, continue to produce, continue to grow. I think that there's this thought that they were absolutely ahead of schedule where I thought they would be. And they were ahead of schedule even like 3 weeks into this season.
Yeah.
Like I thought that what Jeff Ulbrich has been able to do with this defense, what this young core has been able to do in terms of playmaking, like, yes, they still have things that they all got to work on. Like, and there's going to be some decisions that need to be made about like Caden Ellis and, David Onyemata, who are going to be free agents this coming offseason. But I'm just really excited about what this defense did in 2025 and just only knowing that it can be built upon in 2026 because you have so many guys that are returning.
They went from second to last in sacks to second
overall.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. They have a chance to set the all-time
bottom,
record.
Now we're here.
In sacks. It's crazy. For like every year for the past like 2 decades, sitting here for this episode, we would be like,
sacks!
What do we need to see next year? The pass rush, get fixed. Oh my God, it's been fixed.
Right.
And we just were like, cool, thanks. Moving on to the next thing.
Right, yeah. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right, I'll go quickly and then Terrin will wrap up with you. But I would like to leave behind some of the injuries. I don't think that that's been really a huge problem for the franchise over the last 5 years or so. But this year, obviously the biggest among them is Michael Penix Jr., your quarterback going down. But even when you think back to like how training camp started with Darnell, like I really kind of think that set the tone for some of the receiver play and just like that disconnect or not necessarily living up to what we expected out of that part of the offense.
Yeah.
So you can kind of trace back to there. Drake dealing with some of his own injuries. Caleb McGarry obviously lost for the season.
Yeah.
Like that's big. And then a couple of guys like Troy Anderson, Braylon Trice. I would have loved to see them out there as part of this defense. We don't really know kind of what the status is for them for the future, but I would like to not have as many major injuries in 2026. And then looking ahead mine's kind of a little bit of a question of like what I'm going to be looking for because we always talk about identity. That's always the question in training camp.
Always.
What's this team's identity? And Raheem's answer has always been like, it's developed out there on the grass, which I totally understand because on one hand, like you don't want to force a team into a box. You want to allow it to happen kind of naturally. But I also think back to Like Jeff Ulbrich came in here knowing, hey, my defense is playing on its front foot and we attack.
Yeah.
I'd like to see the team as a whole have a this is our best pitch, this is who we are, and we build off of that. And I think offensively you've got that in the run game. But I would like to see as a group kind of what is this identity that you can always rely on even when you don't have your best stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Terrin, what about you?
I'm going to leave behind the issues on special teams. As much as I love talking about special teams, I did not like the way we talked about them this season. It's just the missed kicks, the kicker changes, the return coverage flops at times. I do think they've found a lot more stability in Zane Gonzalez and just kind of fixed a lot of the issues they have had. But that's normally not a unit you want to talk about because that means it's like offensive linemen. If you're talking about them, they're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
So just issues with that, leave it in the past, continue with this consistency into next season. And then looking ahead, can Bijan Robinson top this season? I'm so curious. I don't know.
He hasn't done enough for you this year?
No. I mean, he has. But that's why I'm all right, can you do it again? Can you top it? 3,000 yards.
Yeah. There you go.
BR 3K.
I mean, I don't see a world in which the Falcons don't pick up his 5th-year option next year.
Yeah.
Whoa, this year it's 2026. That's going to take a while. But yeah, can he top it?
Yeah.
Can he top
And
2025?
then if he does, what does that mean for his next contract?
I would love that contract.
We got a whole year to talk about
I
that.
know.
We got a whole
She's
year
looking
to
at
talk about that.
I'm already thinking about cap stuff and
She's thinking
Front office Tori already got a spreadsheet out with the multiple years.
Oh, man.
You joke.
Oh, man. Well, it's been a great year of this podcast, even if it hasn't been the season that everybody expected. But we appreciate you all for listening and sticking with us this entire way, whether that be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, however you listen, or if you watch on YouTube, be sure to check that all out. We will have our final pregame show an hour before kickoff on YouTube Sunday, and then we will have our final whistle, wrapping up the game afterwards. Next week, a lot of season-ending press conferences, so that'll kind of probably be on the news for that. But anything else before we get out of here for, I guess, the first time in 2026.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We appreciate you guys. I actually met a couple people at the game last Monday who listened to the podcast and listened to what we do. And I appreciate the people who have said nice things as we've tried to figure out kind of what this podcast was in 2025.
Yeah. Come up and say hi to us.
Be nice.
Be nice. But with that, we'll carry the niceties into the new year. Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks as always for watching and listening, and we will see you next time.